The following campaign was chosen for us by our supporters at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. Every month this year, they've been helping to choose which game we play next by participating in monthly polls. If you'd like to become a supporter, stay tuned at the end of this episode to find out which games you can vote on this month. Night Witches is based on people from history, real events, the airwomen of the 588 Night Bomber Regiment in the Soviet Air Force during World War II. You may recall our interview with Aaron Palea last month. He's one of the writers on Star Trek Adventures. He's also a World War II reenactor, and he knows a thing or two about the Night Witches. And as he's been listening to our campaign, he's been sending me links to books if we want to learn a little bit more about who these women were. So for the rest of this month, in our show notes, I have a link to one of those books where you can learn more about the history that this game is based on. They were something else. For now, let's return to this month's campaign in our second episode of Night Witches. And our airwomen of the 588 Night Bomber Regiment, they are the Terrible Warriors. Welcome back to the Terrible Warriors. I'm Justin Ecock, your GM for this game, but also a player character. I'll explain where my player has headed off to, Vera, in just a few moments. We are in our second episode now of The Night Witches by Jason Morningstar. Go check out this game. It's very cool. And it's beautifully printed. It has some really interesting history and stuff written into it. I am not alone as I play this game. As we return to the front, I am joined here by my fellow airwomen of the 588 Soviet Air Force. Here at the table with
Joe Drummond.
And Joe, you are playing.
I am playing. Oh shoot, where did my character name go?
We only just made them like an hour ago, so it's fine.
I'm playing Miriam Pomalova.
Miriam Pomalova, who is a sergeant and the pigeon? No.
Yes, yeah, I'm a pigeon.
You're a pigeon. You're a pigeon.
I'm a pigeon.
That's your nature. Who has a fond respect for her plane, Stalin's North Star.
I really love this plane.
Yes.
It's gotten us through so much.
The grease monkey with a secret femme side.
It's true.
Yes, there we are. And we have also here at the table. It's Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hi. It's Neil Tavares, Neil T Tattoos. I'm playing Lyra Kazakova. Good hometown girl, loves her granddad.
Yeah, the owl.
The owl.
Yes, and then who will be our section lead? Apparently, the Sparrow herself.
The Sparrow herself. This is Joshua Barbeau of Chaotic Rogue Entertainment, playing Marina Svetkova, the Sparrow class, but her nickname is also Sparrow.
And as I'm playing the role of the GM, my character Vera Gramova is just Vera. Thanks. She has she's away from the base right now, picking up supplies from the all-male regiment at the 218. So she's not here right now. So it'll just be the three of you plus NPCs who will fill out your squad. We are arriving, as we mentioned last week, at Pashkovska. Our third duty station. You have been serving now for almost a year. The regiment has moved west and south into the warm southern maritime region dominated by the Kerch Strait. Now you're occasionally flying over water for the first time. Targets are heavily defended by anti-aircraft artillery, aided by spotlights, and supplemented by occasional fighter cover. The Germans are slowly learning how to defeat the PO-2s, these are the planes that we fly, using FW-190 fighters at dusk and dawn. So they attack when it's hardest to see, and they come in out of the sunlight. The northern portion of the tactical area consists of marshes, bottomlands, and vast swathes of arable land, much of it now fallow. The southern portion consists of rough country covered in beech forests, rising into the low hills and even mountainous terrain. The maritime climate is temperate and very wet. The Kuban River is the dominant waterway stretching inland to Krasnodar and beyond. German troops can appear anywhere in the tactical area. Navigators look for newly cultivated fields in the north, patterns of small lakes, unusual forest landmarks, and bald hillsides in the south as waypoints. We have a number of missions, 6 in total, that need to be completed before we can leave this duty station. Our section lead had a little look of it between episodes, and we'll be choosing it at the end of this day. But first, we have to go through our full day. 6 months have passed from a hastily converted civilian airfield here in Pashkovska. You are supporting the Black Sea Fleet in the battle for the Caucasus. The Germans are pushing hard, but you are pushing harder. You're sharing the field with the celebrated and all-male 218th Fighter Regiment, who have requisitioned everything of utility or value, leaving you with scraps. Pashkovska is quite close to the city of Krasnodar, which is a linchpin in the German plans for seizing the Caucasus. Also, make sure, did you select Krasnodar in any of your origins at the top of your playbook? Because that's one of the options, and that would be a very interesting RP thing in case you did. If not, we'll probably have a number of NPCs that are from Krasnodar.
It was an option on mine, but
Yeah.
I didn't choose it.
Yeah. It would have been
not on
complete
mine.
random
It
chance.
wasn't an
Just
option
wanted
on
to
mine.
check. Expect many of your missions to be flown very close to home. The supply situation is adequate, with rail lines serving the city of Krasnodar and trucks available to the airbase personnel nearby. Few questions here. What completely unreasonable demand has been made on the regiment since we've arrived here? I've kind of painted here. We're sharing the field with the all-male regiment. We're also sharing tents with the 586 women regiment, mostly women regiment. It's crowded, and you're not getting anything. For you, the airwomen who are helping to world build this, what completely unreasonable demand has been made on the regiment in the 6 months that we have been here?
I think maybe that like we get to choose the scraps kind of a thing as far as maybe like supplies go and such. Do you think?
Would that be an unreasonable demand made on the regiment?
On us.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
we can't get the good stuff at all.
Oh, so the unreasonable demand is even after you get the scraps, they're still coming and taking from the scraps.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah. So
That
they
makes sense.
they get open season on our supplies.
Yeah, the unreasonable demand is to put up with letting them take first dibs at the supplies. Or
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
they're
as
the
if
men
like
around
even
here.
what
They
we're
should be able to get
given,
everything.
They should be able to get everything. Yeah.
as if like even what we're given isn't really ours, it's still subject to be removed.
And this is one I'm going to answer for you. When is Lieutenant General Igor Morozhnichenko, commander of the 4th Air Army, is arriving for the inspection tomorrow of the regiment base. And there's going to be a whole thing about that. And along that, though, arriving today, let's push it by an extra day so we get a little feel for the rules. General Igor Morozhnichenko is arriving in 48 hours, in 2 days' time. Okay. Arriving tomorrow ahead of his visit is a documentary crew that is there to show off the novelty of an all-woman regiment and be there to film the general's inspection of the regiment that will then be shared in films across the country.
Can we make a slight change to our completely unreasonable demand?
The leak... The reason you know that the documentary crew is arriving, well, I'll answer that question in a second, is some of you have received letters from family members who have already been interviewed by this crew in advance. They weren't supposed to tell you they were coming. It was supposed to be a surprise, but now they're finding out. So there's some push on your family as well to also like talk about what it's like to have their daughter or sister serving in the Air Force. So there's this propaganda machine happening with that. So you have... today, we're just going to go through the day. Tomorrow, the documentary crew arrives, and then on the third day is the inspection. And
They
maybe
better
that'll
not
be a
insult
good
my
like
plane.
arc 2 for the show.
I just came up with.
What was the unreasonable demand you came up with?
Yeah, well, given that so many visitors are coming to our base, maybe the unreasonable demand is that whenever there are visitors on the base, we have to give up our bunks to them, and we sleep in a shed somewhere.
Yeah, like that. So not only are they taking your supplies, but they're also taking your sleeping
Yeah, they take our
arrangements.
the men take our supplies,
Yeah.
but whenever there's visitors on base,
So
we also have to
you're
give
having
up our
to
bunks.
share your tent now with another squad because
or these documentary people,
Yeah.
So
or
we're sleeping in like a supply room.
yeah, exactly.
Or
yeah.
even if they're
Sleeping
here and
arrangements.
their documentary, I can speak.
Documentary.
They're doing their documentary thing. We'd have to be awake for that, right?
Yeah.
If they're going to interview us,
Yeah,
we can't
you
be
sleep
asleep.
during the day. You sleep during the day with windows covered with cloth. So, what steps have been taken to keep the regiment efficient in such close quarters with her brothers in the 218?
Well,
Yeah.
they're worried. They're worried that we're going to be trying to sleep with the men that are so close to us.
Oh,
So they should be taking steps to ensure that doesn't happen.
So just extra segregation. So they can come,
Extra segregation.
They're able to come over and take your supplies, but you're not able to
go to their
freely
side of the
walk
base.
over
Their
to their
side.
side of the base.
Makes sense.
That doesn't keep things efficient at all. What does the shared military airfield at Pashkovska look like? Where are the overcrowded women's barracks tents shared with the 586? And where are the spacious huts of the 218? We've already answered these questions.
Yeah.
Where are the
Separated.
motor repair hard stands, the armorer's bunker, and a command tent? Just think about those questions. What object just beyond the perimeter is a stark reminder of war's cost? So
There's
Maybe
a
an older.
there's a ruin of a town that was completely decimated.
there's a bombed out village.
There's a bombed out village that is just like 2 miles off.
And you still see the smoke is still kind of in the sky and the haze and the ash.
Every time we take off, we can see it, and every time we
It's,
land,
well,
we
and
can see
it's,
it.
it's one of your waypoints when
Yeah.
you're coming into the airfield.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
It's very easily visible from the base as soon as we take off.
Okay. We begin. Sparrow and I got my cheat sheet here. Sparrow, Marina, and Miriam.
Miriam, right?
It's Vera. Sorry, I'm. It was Vera.
Vera.
I'm Vera.
No,
you're
I'm
Lyra.
Lyra. Valeria.
You're Marina.
Marina,
And Miriam.
Yeah.
Marion,
So-
but that's Lieutenant Svetkova to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm the GM, and right now you're commanding officer. So Marina, the Sparrow, Lieutenant Marina, Lyra, and Miriam. We are going to begin here. It's a dawn briefing at the beginning of day. You've just finished another long night of flying. You're tired and possibly stressed. The ranking officer here is our Sparrow, and so you're here in your briefing and you're talking to your commander.
Who is on my sheet right here? It's my commander.
Yeah.
Which I have several command staff. My squadron commander is Sergeant Lieutenant or SLT. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
It means Senior Lieutenant. Senior Lieutenant Alexandra Sasha Kadzieva.
Senior Lieutenant, what was the surname?
Kadzieva.
Kadzieva?
Khadzhi.
So, Senior Lieutenant Kadzieva is heading this debriefing after you've arrived back from your mission. And she meets you in the tent, and you're all set in. You're all weary and tired. It was a long night of many runs, and you are being asked, Sparrow. It's a little hard to role play this out because we haven't snowballed into the details. But the question you're going to be asked here: what did you do when you saw D section? And there's A, B, C, D section. So D section fly into a solid wall of flak. So you were out there. They know that D section went into a solid wall of flak while you're out on your bombing run. You're the section lead. This was your mission, your responsibility. What did you do last night?
I was the lead of D section.
You were the lead of your squad of the mission that flew out. And
What is our section and our squadron?
It
It says 1, 2, or 3 in A, B, C, or D.
Yeah, it doesn't matter right now.
Okay, sure.
Section commander, my squadron. You're all in the same squad. So let's put you in squadron 3, and let's put you in C section, problematically named, and we'll put you in squad 3, C section. But D section was also out on the mission with you as well, and they're flying in front of you, heading on their particular, because you had your targets, they had theirs, but you're on the same flight path. And you witnessed D section flying into a wall of flak. What did you do?
I ordered my section to divert from the flight path.
Okay, so it has this question is like if you charged ahead and if you turned back.
We turned back, yeah.
So turning back, we have on the back here, we haven't named them all. We're going to nickname one of these planes here. The lead aircraft was Stalin's North Star.
Stalin's North Star.
Where do I put?
I'm writing it here for you.
Okay. Sorry,
in this one.
Got it.
And what tail number would you like to have there for your plane?
1345.
1345. And the pilot is figured out on its own. And does Stalin's North Star? It doesn't have a personality. That's earned later in the game. The other numbers. Give me more numbers with just 3 number digits.
1701. Wait, 3
171.
17.
Yeah. Give me another.
It's got to be a three digit.
416.
Okay.
Nice shout out.
112 and 476.
I said 416.
416. 416. So tail number 416 is a reserve craft. So the
We can ditch the 5 if you want them to be all three number.
Yeah, I don't have an eraser anymore. So
There it is.
What's wrong with 4 numbers? Or they all have to have 3 numbers?
I think they were all 3 numbers. So it was for turning back, damage one of the planes and immediately drag. So damage one of the planes. So 171, your one of your escorts was damaged when you flew away. And while you're there, we have Captain Olga Barsukova is at this briefing as you're answering the questions there to Lieutenant Kadiava.
Lieutenant Kadiava.
I do there. So squadron commander, right? Sasha. And is marking a note down. And on your way out of the briefing, Sparrow, you have been requested for an informal interview.
Oh, dear.
With the NKVD as a reward for your timidity and weakened resolve for turning back.
I saved my crew from befalling the same fate as D section.
That's fine. I understand. So now I can put that aside because we're going to be going into our day. Yeah. So the interview will happen shortly. We have you have a number of pages here. It's on the back where those things are. 24-hour core with a 588. 24 hours with a 588. Regimental business, squadron business, personal business. Regimental business orders to issue and obey. You have squadron business time to scrounge and repair. You have a broken ship, broken plane. You also have time to rest, recover, reach out, assess, and act up. You've got a number of moves that you can use as I can ask you what you're doing. We know what Sparrow's going to be doing. Sparrow's going to be heading off to an interview with that. And you have, the base is a bustle because the inspection is coming up in 2 days. People are, chittering excitedly about the documentary crew showing up, and they're going to be on a film, and they're going to be all over the country, and you have there under your day moves here. I can answer your questions as well. I can ask you what you want to do. As we go about our day here on the base, I have to find for me my interview questions for
me.
For Sparrow.
Yeah. I have to have a informal interview.
One of my cheat sheets, but it's not. Where did my rule book go? There it is.
I'd like to help the other airwomen repair 171.
Can we make this harder on ourselves and say that to repair 171 you need a specific part, but we don't have that part because it was taken by the men?
I'm absolutely the GM, and I'm absolutely doing that.
Okay.
So you want to head off after your briefing to go repair your
the damaged
help repair
craft.
this. I mean, there are mechanics that'll help repair, but you'll need
I'd like to help them, yeah.
And you'll be heading there. And Owl, what do you do? What do you want to do?
Part of me was kind of thinking about was it reach out to try and find? The only thing I was kind of thinking of is try and find a little bit more information on some of what some of these interviews are going to be. Like, what did they interview my granddad with, and all that kind of stuff.
Learning about the shit that's happening tomorrow.
Yeah. What can we expect
to find out what they asked your grandfather? You would have to write home. And maybe get a response. Although you could reach out and maybe there's some information in a letter that could be delivered to you.
You might know that I write my sister.
Oh.
And you can ask around and find out if other people have been getting letters as well and try and piece information together.
Yeah.
Which
Charlie Horse.
I don't know if that's
the worst.
Yeah.
I had one of those this morning. It's
Let me see.
Okay,
There's
we're better
scrounge
now.
whenever specific things desperately needed. We're reaching out.
That should
someone
be
the
an
letter,
on-base
I don't. It might be
colloquialism for something else.
It
Oh,
might
I got
be
a Charlie
scrounge
voice.
though to get that much.
Scrounge.
If you want to
That's
piece
fair.
together
That's
what
fine.
other people have been getting
Yeah.
from letters, it might be scrounge instead of reaching out.
Sure.
Reaching out is reaching out to a specific person for information, where scrounging is looking for something that is desperately needed, and going through channels or rolling with luck if you aren't good with paperwork. So this might just be a luck roll.
Okay, I am
to
not good with
find
luck,
out.
so let's see.
So, well, before you go on a roll,
All right.
Sparrow, you're going to head over to follow
Obviously,
to the
I-
NKVD interview.
I have
so
no choice but to
they
be
have
interviewed.
they have a room set aside in one of the buildings at the airfield, not in a tent. They get to be up there with the officers, and they've been told, oh yes, there's you know where the room is. Everyone knows where the room is.
The room.
And
The principal's office.
they sit down at the table and they've got the notepad and they just want to ask you about last night's mission. And you were left in charge and you pulled away. Have you been experiencing hesitation towards your orders? Or questioning the authority, or questioning the wisdom of your missions.
Not at all.
So is that a truth? It just depends. It just changes what your stat's going to be. Guts if you tell them the truth. Luck if you're lying.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not always
Like you
confident that the person giving me
turned
orders.
back. Have you been thinking of questioning your superiors?
I'm gonna say
more-
not at all, but I'm not being 100% honest about that.
So then roll 2d6 and add your luck. We don't have any missions
7.
yet. So on a 7 to 9, choose one. Incriminate a family member or a comrade you have positive regard for. You agree to frame the target of their current investigation, and I'll choose that. You and the comrade of your choice are marked.
So I can either become marked.
You can either incriminate someone you have regard for. You have an empty regard slot, so you can fill that in now and immediately incriminate them. You agree to frame the target of their current investigation.
So they're investigating someone, and I could agree to help them frame that person.
They're investigating the squadron, the Lieutenant Kadzieva, and their choices of assigning missions and squad leaders.
So I could frame Lieutenant Kadzieva to get off the hook, basically.
You
is
can
what you're
agree to attempt to do that. Or you and a comrade of your choice will become marked. Because this is pretty scary stuff, having a meeting with the NKVD.
You know what? Screw Sasha. Screw.
So your squad commander,
Mhm.
you have agreed to find dirt on and throw them under the bus as soon as you can.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the coward's way out. I'm a coward.
Okay. I mean, and the NKVD will follow. Well, thank you for your time.
Of course. Anything I can do to help the NKVD,
We have
that's another lie roll.
You have an agreement with them for repairing. Heading to the airfield. That itself is just a roll. It's a repair roll.
Okay.
It's plus skill. A plane torn up or broken down. Help the mechanics to fix it.
Do I roll that now?
And patch it together. Protect it. Choose one. Well, I mean, you show up and you're like,
Okay.
well, I mean, you can help repair, but as we've very much pointed out, the 518. When you arrive, just as you're walking in, you see some mechanics yelling with some of the male mechanics from across the airfield who have come over. And Ivan Batkin, he's an engineer over at the 518, and he's got like a crate full of like scrap metal and cloth and spanners and tools and other bits that are all going to be needed to fix this up, and as well as he's carting an engine away because since that plane was so damaged, they're going to cannibalize its parts. So not only was the plane damaged, but you get there and it's been stripped.
Okay.
Your wing plane 117 was
171.
171. 171's been stripped, and the engineer can't do anything about it because they're not allowed to go over to that part of the airfield and get the supplies back.
All right.
So before you can even begin repairing on the plane, you're going to need to get the parts to repair the plane, and that's I mean, is that really your problem? Is that really your job?
I think it is. I think it's my problem.
So
I
that'll
see
be.
you as like you like your plane, but everybody else is a little bit too.
I kind of like the planes.
Can we just give nicknames to the planes? Or do we have to do something to be
Well,
able to
we've named one of them already when we get regard for it, because that's her plane. And as we meet the planes and we're going on missions, we can give them nicknames then. But right now, those just have tail numbers; they don't have names yet.
Okay.
That's fine.
They haven't been given that
Down for that.
yet. Like that would go into one of your regard slots.
I understand. I don't want to use my regard slots yet.
So the and where I already explained where my character is. So Owl.
Lyra.
You wanted to scrounge around, find out what other people were hearing about what pressure is happening.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that would be another. Give me a luck roll,
Ooh, what did I?
unless you're a misanthrope.
No, I'm not. So I think
I'm
only
missing.
5.
On a 5, you don't. A miss. It can't be acquired for love or money. Well, money anyway. I might choose 3 options for the 7 to 9 list. I definitely want to. You start going around. You're going to attract unwanted attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get poor quality information. Everyone's telling you contradictory stuff. Some people's sharing like their grandmother's recipe, and they're telling like a lover from home, and my fiance's out there on the front, and they're sending me, and you're getting nothing. Like nothing is of use, and because they won't stop talking, and now they all think that you're taking an interest in their personal lives, that they pull you into the tent and they start sharing all their stories with their little sister from back home, and this is the drawings that my brother made, and so you're going to take 1 harm from a lack of sleep.
Oh, good lord!
Because you don't get time for rest.
Get off my
because-
ass, girls.
Right? And now you've just been like pulled right into the center of like their little social net. And by the time you get out, it's so late in the day that you have nothing to show for it, and you're tired. So again, if you want to scrounge for stuff to help repair the plane, you will take a lack of sleep, because you can't take 2. There's not enough time to take 2 options.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and once again, you're going to roll the luck roll as well.
What I'd like to do instead is I'd like to just walk into the men's camp and take what I need.
So that would be acting up.
Yes.
Yes.
And
So
so,
you cross the line, you cross the airfield, you go over to those well-built huts
So
that the
before-
518 are staying in.
so before I do, I have a fairly large cap on, so I throw all my hair up into the cap.
Yeah.
And our
It's all the same
uniforms are
uniforms. Yeah, all the same
androgynous.
uniforms.
So,
Hey there, fellow men.
Everyone looks pretty similar in a jumper.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
So
just
I
look like
can,
a young recruit.
because I took androgynous, I can use guts instead.
Yes, that's a +2.
Mm.
Yes.
So roll
Do
that, and then
it.
depending on how that succeeds, I'm going to let you describe how that scene plays out.
Oh dear.
Get it, girl.
8.
Also, you have eyeball is sizing up a person or a situation, which you can use before going into dealing with an NPC as well. So act up when you try to get your way. Are you acting like a hooligan, but because of that, you get to act like a man?
Yes.
And you're rolling with guts?
Yes.
So acting like a man, roll with guts. What did you roll?
An 8.
On an 8. On a 7 to 9, choose one of the following. Make someone do what you want. The person you are imposing on is a PC. They can or cannot do it, but if she doesn't, you are both marked. Ensure that there are no consequences for acting up. Add 1 to the mission pool. So you want to show up and say, I'm here for the supplies.
Yes.
And but you, by choosing that, you're also not choosing 1 for the mission pool or consequences for acting up.
I'm cool with that.
Okay. So what did you want to do? You wanted to make someone do what you want.
Yeah.
Was the whole
Yes,
thing.
I want someone to.
Okay. So how does they show?
Okay, so she just kind of walks into the supply room for the men's repair.
Yeah, you see Batkin is there.
Yeah.
And Ivan Batkin, and he's got the engine, and he's already like pulling out parts and taking the metal and starting to file things down.
Yeah. So she claps him on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, good to see you. It's been a while, buddy."
And he doesn't recognize you, obviously, but just, when it's awkward when you meet someone you don't recognize who really recognizes you, and you have to go, "Oh, hey, don't know who you are. Hey, how's it going? I don't know who this person is." But you do it anyways. It actually happened, Neil, shortly after you and I met, and you were waving at me across the tracks at the subway station.
I remember
You're like, "Hey, Justin." And I'm like, "Hi." And you're like, "Looking forward to Mass." I'm like, "Oh, it's Neil." You were too far away. I didn't know who you were.
So I presume she also knows kind of who, not his higher up, but the higher up above him is.
Yeah.
So she says his name and goes, "Oh, Sergeant, Sergeant Ivanov."
Yeah, the inspections.
The inspection guy.
The inspections coming in.
Yeah. Oh man.
The general.
All of our planes, even the really, really shitty ones that those women have, like what are they even doing? Like even those shitty planes, they need to look good. We can't.
Yeah, the documentary crew.
Yeah, the documentary crew. We can't do this, man. Like then everything needs to fly.
And he just kind of rolls his eyes like, "Whatever, I didn't even need these supplies. I just like taking things from them whenever I can each
I know,
day."
right? It's fun.
And then he just kind of
Just
shoves
wanna
it away.
kick
He's like,
him in the
"I can't do
balls."
anything with this engine anyways. It's a piece of crap and it's not even compatible with what we're working with."
Do you mind helping me lug it back over?
And he's like, he just kind of looks at it. It's like, "Don't do that yourself, recruit."
It's kind of heavy, but if
Who
you really
are
can't-
you? What squad are you even in?
I'm in squad 357 of the...
Just get the stuff out of my sight before I look for your superior.
Thanks. Appreciate it. See you around, buddy.
So there will be a consequence for your actions. Is they're going to know that there's no such person, and that like, oh, the women are stealing from the men now.
Okay.
So that's
Cool.
just that will come back. So the day is running out, and as you go through, you have a time here at dusk. Highest ranking character players, in consultation with the current GM, choose a mission from the available duty station options, and then deliver the night briefing. So it's around this time that you would have time to, like, as we get into mid-afternoon, is when you were sleeping. Except Lyra was too busy talking it up with the letters, and Miriam was too busy being a man on the other side of the airfield. And by the time you lug everything back, you're going to get to roll repair, but take 1 harm for not sleeping, because you're skipping sleep today in order to help repair the ship.
I love the ships.
So go ahead and give me a repair roll.
All right. So repair skill, right?
Scare plus skill.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. That did not go well. I got a 4, and
But she
have
has
0
NPC
skill.
mechanics who are assisting her. Does that not give her some kind of bonus?
No, because everyone's so tired, and that
I
4
see.
is really bad. Even with a bonus, it would only get you to a 5, or then maybe a 6, and you need to get to a 7 in order for that to count. So
This
you
did not go
are
well.
going to take another harm because you have not slept at all, and you will be sending this plane into combat still damaged.
Sorry.
Yeah, I fixed it.
All you were able to
I
do is get the
fixed it.
engine back in that was taken out, but you weren't actually able to repair the actual damage from last night's mission.
So that works
but
really...
you sign it off anyways because there's not any time, and it's now time for your nightly briefing, and shit, you didn't get to sleep tonight. So that's why you're at 2 harm.
And that also works really well with a mark that I took. Ignore a problem until it overwhelms.
Yep. The plane acquires a personality if it didn't have one already. So 171 is going to pick up a personality here, which I have. And I'm figuring it shouldn't be a good one. What personality would you like to give this plane?
What kind of are you thinking with personalities?
Personalities can be temperamental,
Okay.
lucky, reliable, right? Like they can be like something that you would describe as you anthropomorphize these planes. Like, oh, you got to watch out for this one. This one's a wild one, or
It's a little hinky.
This one's a little hinky.
So it's a bucket of bolts, but it's holding together by duct.
Let's see.
That's when it was like
Tired. Yeah, maybe it doesn't start up. It's exhausted, just like you.
Yeah.
Exhausted.
All right.
So is that what you're going with? Exhausted?
Yeah, let's go with
So
exhausted.
171 is an exhausted, damaged plane. And do we want to give it a nickname, players?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the name of 171?
Well, I wanted to name it something, but that doesn't apply anymore.
Can I
What
say?
is not? What were you going?
I
to
was
name
going to name it Enterprise because I'm lame and a Star Trek nerd.
Yeah.
But no, not anymore because it's exhausted. So that's
Yeah.
How about the Falcon?
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest Dr. Frankenstein's Revenge.
Oh, that's
do it.
quite the mouthful.
Dr. Frankenstein's.
Revenge.
Somebody plays Overwatch.
I don't actually.
Revenge. All right, I like that. Frankenstein's Revenge. Frankenstein.
See, my go-to was the Millennium Falcon because that guy's all kinds of like hinky.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
lots of duct tape.
In Overwatch, there's a mode you can play called Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge.
So the only
Gotcha.
person who actually slept was Sparrow.
Yes.
Yep.
After the meeting didn't go well, but then you went off, you got some sleep, and you planned out tonight's mission. We've already talked ahead of time on what you were thinking of. What were
I
you?
need to see that paper again, though.
So you gather everyone up into the tent.
So how
You're coming
does
directly
this
from
work?
the hangar?
I get packets and I pick from them which mission I want to go on?
I mean, it's
Or
that's just
is
mechanically.
Sparrow's not actually picking the mission?
Sparrow is
I'm
the-
just picking
no,
the mission.
Sparrow is in charge of this section.
Right.
You're of these 3 planes that are flying out tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have your squad lead that's looking at all of the 6 or the 4 sets of 3 that are all going out. But you're in charge of the 3 planes. Your job tonight will be not only to pick the mission, but as you're describing the mission and talking it over with your fellow airwomen, you will be assigning who is going to be doing the attack run, and who will be doing the wayfinding, and who will be running as the escort. And there's 3 of you, so 1 for each. Whether you're in the same plane or not is also up to you. You can put them both in the same plane, or you can spread them out among the 3. You have 3 planes that are going out. And all 3 of those planes are going out tonight.
I don't think at
And
least one of them's gonna make it
You
back.
could swap out 171 with the reserve plane. You
But
haven't lost it yet.
I've been assured that 171 is good to go.
Is
Somebody
the damage
signed-
I
obvious?
was totally thinking that I'm tired
'Cause
as
the
all
damage-
hell, and
Somebody
It's up to
signed
you,
off
it's
on
obvious.
it being repaired. I have a report here with a name on it saying it is good to go.
I'll
So I
take it.
suspect that it's obvious, but not necessarily more obvious than any of the other planes. They're
Okay.
all in bad shape.
right.
so-
I didn't
take-
I didn't look at the plane. I
okay.
looked at the report.
So your job
take
will be
171.
So the way the missions go, because I know
the
I'm
closest to the
explaining
door.
these rules in piecemeal. The way the missions will run is when you head out, the navigator will have to roll a successful wayfinding roll to find your target, because you are in an open pit cockpit with secondhand maps, and you are looking at these maps
unless
by
I pick
starlight.
a certain mission where
And-
that's not an issue.
And so you will need to get. You're right. Circumstances will change, but default is you get a successful wayfinding roll. Then, after getting a successful wayfinding roll, the person tasked with being the pilot will do the attack run roll. And after a successful attack run, you'll then return to base. The 3rd player will be the escort and will roll to assist and get in and help the other 2 players when they need it. But you can usually only pick to help one before the other needs the help, right? Like you're only one other plane. And then depending on things like damage and that are taken, you will either return home safely or have to do wheels down or whatever. We'll follow the fiction. And then once that happens, we then go to another briefing like we started this episode, and we do the whole day all over again. And there's just not enough time to get everything done. As we just, it's like that day went past fast.
Yeah.
So you meet in the tent for your nightly briefing for tonight's mission.
All right. So here's what we're doing, ladies.
Yes.
Tonight we will be bombing the Krimskaya fuel dump and rail yard near the city of Novorossiysk on the Black Sea. It's important to note that a low-altitude attack on this target would be suicidal, so precision will be required because we will have to do a high-altitude attack and still hit our targets. Burning fuel will also illuminate us
KVD
against the
is
night
writing
sky
these down.
as we depart, so we don't want to do that either. So it's going to be a dangerous mission. We need to make sure we're at our top best, so I hope you girls got lots of sleep, and I hope that all of our planes are good to go.
Yeah, lots of sleep.
I mean, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. So what was the mission number letter?
Mission D.
Mission
We're going on
D.
Mission D.
Bombing the Krimskaya fuel dump and rail yard near the city of Novorossiysk.
Correct.
On the Black Sea. Low altitude attack on this target is suicidal, so precision will be required. Burning
Now-
fuel will illuminate you against the night sky as you depart. So
I have to decide their positions and what plane I'm putting them in.
So first we've got our lead aircraft, tail number 134, Stalin's North Star, who is leading the attack run tonight. Now you can look to skills. I can tell you, you can see on the back of your move sheet is the night moves. You have Wayfind is a skill roll, and attack run is a guts roll. So you can play to the player's stats, or you can role play them and put them into positions that you feel are best suited for. You can metagame as much or as little as you wish the Sparrow to do.
So
and
I
then
don't,
the
I don't
last
have a lot of
person-
knowledge of how this all works, but what would I understand as is the most dangerous position versus
They're all dangerous.
They're all
of them
dangerous
are going to be under
equally?
gunfire.
Okay.
All three of them, like also in a real mission,
But like
all
an
three
attack
ships-
plane is probably in more danger
the
than an
navigator
escort plane.
might be in the attack plane. Right, the
Okay.
navigator. There's two positions in each plane. There's the pilot at the front and the navigator in the back. So you might have the person doing the attack run at the front and the navigator sitting right behind them.
I understand.
Or mechanically in the game, we can split them up among the three planes. Or you can put both of them into the same plane, and the Vedamaya is your escort, the third player, who they will have a hold one during a mission and can
Vedamaya is
spend that
the
hold
NPC?
at any time to take one of their consequences on yourself or your aircraft. So you have a hold during the mission that you can use to immediately swoop in and save the other
That's
players.
an NPC fourth.
There's
player.
only there's three roles. There's three players. One person's doing the attack run. One person is doing the navigation, and one person is the Vedamaya. And then we'll have three more NPCs split
doing
to
those
fill out the
to
other
fill out
planes.
the other planes. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who will just
So-
be there to soak damage.
With all due respect, Sparrow,
Yes.
I think I should be on 171.
Yeah. You should be on 171.
I
You have a
realize-
special relationship with Stalin's North Star.
I realize I usually take Stalin's North Star, but today I think I should be on 171.
Oh, and why?
Shouldn't you
Why?
kind of take the one that you're most?
Yeah, I know. I appreciate your desire to put Dr. Frankenstein's Revenge to
You
the
have
test.
a medal that you can also use to point to and act up and get a player to give you what you want. And if you succeed at the roll and they say no, you both get marked.
Yeah, so like you could basically force my
If you're having
hand,
like a falling out.
and I either have to accept or I take a mark. So there's a cost. Is that what you
So,
want to do?
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay, you're
So I
saying
just kind of
you
subtly
belong
point
in
to-
Dr.
So I
Frankenstein's
think
Revenge.
it's
Okay.
act up. Let me double check. It might be it's
Yeah,
either
that-
acting up or tempting fate.
I'm doing
It's-
a lot of acting up
It's
today.
a plus
Yeah.
medal, though.
I feel like a grease monkey. That's kind of the
I
thing.
saw
you're
that
used
When
to.
something is
somewhere.
consult the GM to inform duty station. Don't forget to announce any medals and promotions during the briefing. We don't have any medals or promotions during the briefing.
I have a
Yeah,
medal.
it's definitely act up. It's make someone do what you want. And if the person you are imposing on is a PC,
Oh yeah, acting as a natural-born Soviet airwoman, roll plus medals.
Wonderful. I would like to do
That's
that.
exactly what you're doing because you want to take on. Like I'm fucked up this plane. I should be the one flying it. So you absolutely.
But you're not admitting
rolling-
the plane is fucked
No.
up. You're just saying I should be in plane.
I should be in
171.
plane 171. And so I say, I worked on her today. I know how she's going to handle, and I point to my medal.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make your medal check.
Let's see it. Oh man.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that's
Got
a 10.
I got a
10. So you
10.
get to pick 2.
So on a 10, make someone do what you want and ensure that there's no consequences for acting up, or make someone do what you want and add 1 to the mission pool. We don't have anything in the mission pool.
What is adding to the mission pool?
Mission pool is a token they'll put in the center of the table that can be spent as by any player at any time during the mission to add to their die roll. So it'll help succeed die rolls.
And what kind of consequences would there be for her acting up if she didn't choose that?
If there's no consequences, well, I mean, the consequences for acting up, I think, would be being in 171 and it breaking down. I mean, like, there's some consequences
Or
of
we
being in a
could
damaged
have
plane.
some beef
It's
for...
just the consequences for acting up are kind of at the discretion of the GM. Just
I understand.
whereas if you choose that, there's no consequence. Then I just
Got it.
can't give you any.
So
repercussion.
if you pick make someone do what you want, which I'm assuming that's what you're picking.
I am.
And the no consequences, for example?
Or did you wanna add to
No,
the mission
let's
pool?
add to the mission pool.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
dangerously. So
All
there's your
right.
mission pool.
I can either do it, but if I don't, we both become marked.
So is Joe in 171 going to be in the pilot or the navigator position? This does not mean she's necessarily being assigned Wayfinder or attack run, but remember that attack run can only be done by pilot, Wayfinder can only be done by navigator, but she might still be doing escort.
But if I choose no, then we both become marked, right?
You both get marked if you say no, and you go, no, you're in Stalin's North Star.
I feel like that's the more entertaining choice.
So the PC is still going to say no, and you're both going to get marked for it. So on your character sheet, choose one, not the death one, that's the very last one, that you're going to mark and tell me what it is, and we'll have to work that into the fiction.
I'm going to work it
Tonight.
into the fiction right now. I'm going to reveal a secret. Is my mark.
Okay.
And the secret I'm going to reveal is I'm going to say, because I think this is hilarious, that the one person on my team who's not a lesbian is the one that I'm pining after. What's your character's name?
Miriam.
Miriam. I love Miriam the most, so I'm
And
not
you won't
putting
put
her
her in harm's way.
in harm's way.
Oh my!
Oh no.
So you're writing that regard down.
I'm writing that regard down, and I chose the mark. I'm revealing a secret.
So
So maybe I didn't announce that I love her, but it was clear.
Can I just see yours?
You know, my body language showed
I didn't
it
pick
was
one yet.
clear.
Okay.
So Miriam has the best guts, so it's probably the best pilot you have.
I am putting her in Stalin's North Star.
So you're putting her in the pilot position.
in the pilot position, yeah.
So Miriam, you're flying your ship, and
Okay.
you're doing the attack run.
Okay.
And I'll be the navigator in that one.
Oh, so you're sitting
You
right
know.
behind. Are you going to be
Oh
the
my.
wayfinder as well, or are you going to give the wayfinder to Lyra?
Lyra's going to be the wayfinder.
And which plane is Lyra being
You
put
want a
into?
Dr. Frankenstein's revenge?
I'll take Dr.
You've
Frank.
got
Oh,
it.
no.
You've got it.
Oh,
You
shit.
noticed that Miriam looks horrified at what has just happened.
I feel like I look at you and look at the plane and look back at you with like just shifty eyes
That
for a
did
sec.
not go the way you wanted.
Okay, so for my mark, I've picked the one that has an arrow next to it, and I'll let you do what you want to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, we won't do that now, but
Yeah,
it will
I figured.
happen by the end of the night.
Okay, cool.
Lyra hops up into her plane, pulls her picture of her granddad up.
In the pilot position of
tucks it into the
Lyra's
dash.
plane, you're going to have Irina.
Irina is the pilot?
Irina Filipova is the pilot of your plane. You both have throttles. You can both fly if necessary, but it's just like Irina's at the front and you're in the back seat.
He's a navigator.
Which
And you're the
plane is
navigator.
Irina flying?
Wayfinder.
I'm the wayfinder.
You're the
right?
wayfinder.
Oh, sorry, Irina's the pilot?
And you're in 171, and Miriam, you are the pilot.
Lyra is the
and
navigator.
doing the attack run in 134.
Yeah.
And Sparrow, you'll be in that.
I'm
plane
also
for the
in
attack
134 as the navigator.
run. Okay.
And so we just have two NPCs in 122.
Yeah,
Or
but-
112.
But you get to have the role of Vidamia.
Vidamia, which I don't know what that means.
Which is just escort. You have a hold to
Got
take
it.
the consequences of another failed roll on behalf of yourself, so to protect the attack runner and the wayfinder.
The love of your life.
So if they screw up, you have a way of.
Who would-
But you only have one hold. So anything after that would be tempting fate. So the last one, tail number 112. I'm just gonna roll some quick names. We have.
Would the North Star get its own personality or not yet?
Not yet. Personality comes out of roles as consequences.
Gotcha.
And
Like not putting the engine in very well.
Elena.
Maybe you won't even get off the ground. You'll be safe.
So Diana Lavrova and Elena Zubova are in tail number 112, which we haven't named yet. So that's it. That's that. There's your squad heading out on your mission. So your moves that were on day are now on night moves. You don't really have much time to do anything else when you're on a mission. There's very little room for personal business during combat. Support another woman or reach out to her is kind of it. There'll be 6 or 12 sorties a night, but we're just playing out the highlights as this happens, right? So you're taking this bombing run, you're going on a couple of passes past the field, but we're just doing like the most memorable moment of that evening. So some part in that night now, we just kind of roll ahead. It's now nighttime. You're exhausted. You haven't been sleeping at all today, Pigeon. The owl, you're on your own plane with one of the NPCs.
You also didn't sleep?
Also did not sleep.
But you're going to be. You didn't sleep as much. You were kept up later, and you're exhausted from it. But you're going up there with 2 harm. You're going
I
up there
actually
with 1
didn't
harm.
sleep.
Oh, man.
You maybe had an hour
I got-
nap. She
Yeah,
had
not
no
as
If you
nap.
take just
I
one,
had-
if you just take one nap during the day, you can remove that harm. Like tomorrow, you're gonna maybe even have to ground yourself in order to get yourself back into tip top shape.
Interesting. Okay.
So So what's the weather conditions like then as you're heading out? It's March.
So it's raining.
It's the water. It's Maritimes.
It's probably pretty
wet,
windy.
windy.
Yeah.
Foggy, windy, with a bit of
Oh, there's
rain.
like a fog bank that's coming off the coast.
Yep.
It's making it a little bit more difficult for the
foggy,
wayfinder.
windy, and a bit of rain.
Because you're just looking off
Lyra-
the map
Lyra
and
loves
off
it.
of physical
She loves it.
geographic locations to
She's
find out
just
where you
got
are.
the biggest grin on her face with this weather.
Yeah,
Just loving it.
and so
And
you're,
what
you're
happens?
excited going in.
What happens when you're trudging along through rain if you're already exhausted?
Yeah, I mean it's just I mean the plane took a little. You had to start spinning things. They had to push it a little bit to keep it going. It wasn't, and then it kicked into.
Just adds to my adventure,
when you're
that's
up,
all.
And it's like, and if this engine turns off, it might never turn back on again. Now, right? Like it's like you're just keeping it going.
Just keep it
don't
going.
stall it. So by night, you need to find your location to hit. So it's a rolling skill. We only have 1 point in the mission pool.
That's
Yeah?
fine.
I have Intense Navigator. To find a target at night, you don't need to wayfind if you instead take a mark or harm. of your
Oh, okay.
choice.
Yeah, you can do that instead if you don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
That's your call. if that's
I
what
think
you'd
I'll
like to
take the
do.
war story mark.
Okay.
It's a pretty good story.
Yeah, I'm flying this plane. It feels like it's held together with hopes and dreams, and it's just piss and rain everywhere.
Yep.
So war story.
So the war story is after this mission, and next week when we begin the episode, you're going to tell us the war story
All right.
from your own biased perspective.
All right.
And you can change it however you want. I'm going to turn everyone else's mics off because we can't even interrupt you until you've done telling your tall tale.
Oh, jeez. Like, how long is a tall
Back in the
tale?
war,
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
give it like 5 minutes.
I mean, I
or
put
less.
her in the plane. Throw me under the bus.
So, so does that mean you get a 10 plus?
It means I don't need to wayfind. Yeah. So it means I succeed, I suppose.
Okay, so on a 10 plus, you find it and line it up in a textbook approach. So you did a good job there tonight on assigning the white wayfinder there, Sparrow. Planes relying on your navigation
Totally by
can
accident.
choose which mist condition they would prefer. So
okay, I saw it.
your
It's like,
Frankenstein's Revenge is doing a good job on leading you to the fuel depot.
Somehow.
Dr. Frank.
You did a great job
Dr. Frank.
repairing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But that engine is like you're doing a good job, but Frankenstein is like, and you can even see the meter that would do your fuel gauge. Half the time they don't even work properly. But are you burning more fuel than you should be?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It
We might
specifically
be.
mentioned that this mission,
like, bang,
anyone who
bang,
burns
bang.
fuel lights
No,
up brightly.
the burning fuel from the explosion of your target
Oh.
will illuminate the sky and
I
make you
understand.
not
Okay,
visible.
okay.
So the way these missions would work historically is 3 planes would go. 2 of them would distract the spotlights because their engines were so noisy. And this third one with their payload
Cut its
would
engine.
shut their engines and glide down. That's why they got their name, the Night Witches, because they would just hear the flapping of the canvas in their wings as they would then drop the bombs and then go away. And they would like witches on broomsticks.
Well, we certainly have a noisy engine tonight.
So yeah, and it seems to be leaking fuel. So time is of the essence. There's not going to be a whole lot of room for difficulties here because you're flying too low for parachutes to even matter. So no one.
Well,
is
actually,
ever
we
given
can't fly
parachutes.
low with this mission. If we fly low, it's a suicide run.
But we don't
You're
have
still not
parachutes
given
anyways.
parachutes.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So the attack run, when you lead
The men
an
took the
attack on a
parachutes.
target, you're rolling guts. So now it's time for our lead plane here, Stalin's North Star. You're flying in for your attack run, and it's time for you to roll guts and
All
and
right.
describe like how are things going in your mind now? Like you've got +2 to harm. When harm is in play like this, lightly injured, diligent aid, and a day away from duties, remove it. So harm, if untended, is cumulative. I think this is going to give you a -1 on your roll. So
Okay.
you're only rolling at guts 1
Okay.
because you're so tired. Like
Okay.
you're like, the hum of the engines and flying up there, and it's nighttime in the cold, and it's
And
just
I'm very concerned about
really
my
hard to
friend in the
focus.
other plane.
Yeah, you're very distracted. But you do have a regard for your plane, which gives you a +1 to your roll.
Okay.
So you're still rolling at +2.
All right. I just
And the
bel-
mission pool can be used before or after a dice roll.
Okay. I'm not going to use it yet. I'm going to see what I get first, but I just believe in my plane so much. Like, she hasn't done me wrong yet.
Well, the regard always happens
Yeah.
whenever you do anything with your plane.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, you don't have to worry about like using it.
Okay. So I'm flying, I'm swooping, and I'm doing what I've always done. It's second nature by now, and it does not feel like second nature this time.
That's a 5, 6 with the mission pool even, which won't even get you into the 7.
So I have a question. I'm the Vidomia.
You're the Vidomia. You have a hold. You can spend your hold at any time to take one of their consequences on yourself or your aircraft. So the consequences here on a miss, either abort the attack completely, which will surely trigger an informal interview back home and desperately tempting fate, or press on, tempting fate. Planes relying on your leadership can choose which miss condition they would prefer. So the thing is, with the conditions, it would be like those consequences is the damage to the target. You fly through a storm, a plane section is damaged, you and your fellow airwomen are marked. You could choose to take that consequence instead of the player who missed the roll. So it kind of helped to spread out the harm, so it's not all being synced into one character. But there is no consequences right now. It's just a flat-out miss.
I got it.
So to continue on to lead your attack run, you would have to roll plus guts
Okay.
at a -1 because of your harm,
Right.
just to be able to try again.
And that would be my role, not Sparrow's role, right?
That would
What
be,
do I
that-
do
that would
as
be the
also
pigeon
being
roll.
in her plane
That
to help?
What are you doing to help? Because you can use to reach out
Like, how can
to
I-
support another player.
How can I support her in her attack run?
How do you want to support her in her attack run? You're sitting right behind her. You really like her, and she's tired and stressed out, and you're in the back, and you can roll to reach out to player to remove 1 harm, to change the target of a currently filled regard slot, or to add to the mission pool.
That's what I'll do. I'll reach out to remove 1 harm because it's really hurting her. I'll be like, focus. You've got this. You've done this a million times. It's muscle memory. You don't need to be awake to do it. You can just,
Yeah, and supporting too. You can also by supporting can add +1 to their dice roll as well in a Powered by Apocalypse games.
Is
So-
the same thing as removing a harm, I think.
So 3 to what was it? +2.
+2.
So that was 5 + 6. That would
Plus-
get you to the 7 consequence if you support
with a +1.
in the back seat and you give her the assist.
As opposed to if I support to remove a harm, doesn't it also get rid of
Yes,
her -1? So
it would, but with the harm it comes down to also a dice roll,
Oh, okay.
right? Versus straight up helping with this
Okay,
versus
I'll
more
just-
long term effect healing.
I'll just straight up help her.
Yeah.
Do I have to make if I do to get rid of her harm?
You're not going to have many dice rolls in this mission because you're the Vidomia roll. It's
If
more
I do
of
to get rid of her harm, I
like
would have
like
to make
the
a
way
dice
the
roll?
GM doesn't roll dice. If you wanted to remove harm by reaching out, being like it's going to be okay, you would have to roll for that.
I will happily roll for that because I get a +1 because I regard her, correct?
So you need to reveal a significant new truth to roll that dice in order to be able to reach out and support them in such a way.
I mean, I already revealed the secret.
I could be kind of dense. I might not have noticed.
Okay, well, maybe I'll reveal the secret.
Everyone else in the room knows what's going on. You're the last
I
one
don't.
to find out.
I have
Maybe
no
I'll reveal
idea.
the secret again. So,
Yeah.
I'll be like,
A little more explicitly this time.
yeah, yeah. I'll do whatever I have to do to make it very explicit.
Yeah.
I will wake her up.
Yeah.
So from the back seat of this plane.
So you
here.
have regard for her, right? So
I
that's
do.
a +1 to this roll.
And what kind of roll is it?
It's a straight roll
Straight roll. Okay.
because it's mostly based on regard.
Yes.
Give you the bonuses.
So I got 5, 7.
You got an 8.
8. I got
On
an
a
8.
7 to 9, choose 1. Remove 1 harm from you and your friend. Add 1 to the mission pool, or change the target or tone of a currently filled regard slot.
I remove 1 harm from me and my friend, so I don't have any, but she removes
Right.
1 harm.
So that gets you to the 7
Thank
range
you.
for your attack run.
I'm just so honored that someone feels this way about me.
Oh, this is not good though.
Oh no.
Choose 2 consequences.
Oh no.
The damage to the target is not significant, and it is your fault. You fly through a storm of flak, which will trigger enemy fire. A plane in your section is damaged, GM's choice. You and your fellow airmen, or you and your fellow airwomen are marked.
I have to choose 2?
You have to choose 2 out of that. If you rolled a 10+, you'd only have to pick 1 of that. They're all terrible.
They're all terrible.
I'm going to use my hold from the Dodoma to take one of those away from her and apply it to the plane instead.
Okay, so instead of being marked, your plane could be marked.
Actually, I'll apply it to myself instead.
Yeah.
Instead of the plane.
So you and your fellow... Well, the thing is, you and your fellow airwomen are marked. Both of you would be marked for being in the same plane. Because you're sitting right behind each other. You're both getting hit. But it would be like the damage to the target is not significant and it is your fault instead of the pilot's fault.
Okay,
right?
I'll take that.
That's the consequence. Right? She still
what are the 3 choices?
The damage to the target is not significant and it's your fault. You fly through a storm of flak, triggering enemy fire. A plane in your section is damaged, GM's choice. You and your fellow airwoman are marked. So if you're in a different plane, these would be mechanically more interesting. But roleplay-wise, you could, as Vidamia, take the damage and make it your fault.
By using my hold,
yes,
make
she
it my
got
fault.
the attack run successfully, but no, she missed the fuel depot.
Because
she was like, "You're
doing,
into what?"
I was doing something very distracting. Okay, I'll make it my fault that she missed.
Yeah.
Okay,
and you know it. You know it's his. You know it's her fault.
Okay. And I think it would also be interesting to have another plane in the section be damaged. Your choice.
Okay. So so you come down and you miss the target and the flak fire, like it's not taking any fire, but there's like anti-aircraft cannon coming and you're being hit with bullets. There's other planes in the sky. That's all happening. And let me just have a quick look at what my GM moves are here.
Sorry,
I
did
have
we
a
use
list.
the...
We did use this, right? To get
Yes, we had to. Yeah. The engine on Frankenstein's is you can hear it like sputtering.
Oh boy.
And going, and you're going to have to head back if you want to tempt fate to try and get your target. You might have to do so without the support of your sister plane, who will have to head back to the base. And the NPC ship, the other plane.
So 112 just got damaged. Is that
one, the damage is to North Star.
The damage is to North Star. Okay.
Yeah, it's to your.
That's to our plane.
Okay, sorry.
134.
As you're doing this, because we were talking about how cloudy it was and the fogginess and the weather, you can hear German fighter planes are in the clouds and they're ready to ambush you as they're going to move in. And if you were going to do anything else and tempt it, you're tempting fate to try again and get your target. It will trigger enemy fire as they're going to begin hunting you down.
So on the one hand, I'm honored that Sparrow feels
But this
something,
isn't the time.
but this isn't the time or the place, and you made me miss my damn target. So I very snarkily go over my comm and say, "What now, Captain?"
But your arm got knocked down, so you got your guts are back up. You're just tired. Your arm's at 1.
Yeah.
I'm just crazy.
So you can now roll.
I woke you up, but not in the right time or place, or in a good way, or in a way that was.
There's some vinegar now in your
there's some
blood.
vinegar in this. What now? Well,
So
I already got in trouble earlier today for turning tail. And I'm going to get in trouble again for missing on the first hit.
Yeah.
So let's not make it a hat trick of getting in trouble.
So you're ordering to try again? Tempting fate, do another attack run.
I guess so. Do you feel confident enough to make another
they know
pass?
where you are?
Wait, why is this our third pass?
Well, the first one you. Oh no, it was the first one. Sorry,
It's our second pass.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So it's your second pass. Either way, they know that.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
The spotlight's going on, and Frankenstein's having to pull back because of the damage to the plane, or they run the risk of crashing.
So now there's two of us.
So you don't have the other 2 planes that you would.
We only
normally
have one
distracting.
distraction.
You only have one distraction in the form of.
Do I get to choose if I want to keep on going, or is that
That's up to you to
choose?
tempt fate. I'm just letting you know that that's the reality right now of Frankenstein.
I feel like even I want to try tempting fate here.
Yeah, that'd be a guts roll.
My instinct
If
is
you want to stay in there, I'm gonna have you roll guts.
All right.
And
Let's
if you
give it a
fail, you'll retreat. You'll because you got an NPC, because you're the wayfinder in that plane. You're the pilot in front of you. The NPC is like, we have to head out of here. We're almost out of fuel. We got a long trip back. This plane's a piece of crap. Who let this thing fly? And they're ready
That
to
would be
shoot
me.
the flare out to signal the other two planes that they're leaving.
All right, I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7.
So you convince him to stay. You convince her, Irina, to stay in the flight.
Irina,
do
Dr. Frank can do this. We can do this.
Dr. Frank can do this.
You can do it, but not without a cost. The GM will offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. Frankenstein, if they keep it out, will have to wheels down in enemy territory.
Ooh.
So you could stay, but then you're
But
going
it means
down.
you're not going
You're
to
not
get
going to
back.
make-
No,
make-
enemy territory is a kilometer from the border. Like, you could probably still crawl across and no one would notice.
Hey, man.
But that would be a
I
whole
picked
other
adventurer.
episode. That would be like next week's entire hour. You might miss the inspection.
Can I hear what's going on?
No,
with,
there's no radios.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I picked
That's
adventurer.
why you got
Let's
flares and hand signals and getting
All
up
right.
next to each other and yelling really loudly.
let's try this,
This
wheels
is a
down.
choice that,
Okay.
that she has to make on her own.
She's making the choice.
Let's try this.
All right, so you're going to stick around. So
Yeah.
that Guts Tempting Fate will give you the attack run to do.
All right.
So we don't have to tempt fate because he tempted
I'm just going to let
fate.
this be the squad.
Got
Just,
it.
I mean, I'm flubbing the rules a bit because to move things along, but let's finish this night.
All right.
This is
Let's
one
do
day.
it, girls. Oh, no.
Oh no.
That
Can
was
I
a
get new
nat-
dice?
Yeah, you can pick out some new dice. You just
Here.
rolled 3.
Mines were rolling really good. You
All
can have
right.
mine.
Thank
There
you.
I'll
is
take
no-
yours.
So
There
there
is
was
no
3.
way.
It was 3, but I have +3, which still
Which
isn't
is still
enough.
at 6, and there's nothing left in the mission pool.
And I can't do anything at this point. Don't push her
no.
along because
Yeah.
I've already supported her.
There's
Right?
no way I can help either because I'm in my own plane, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't.
So
support
not
again or
only
whatever.
so this is going to go very badly for Sparrow.
This mission was a horrible failure.
You go in for your second pass. The German fighters are waiting to ambush in the clouds. And sadly, as you're going down, you see tail number 112 with Diana and Elena in the plane light up like a torch. It bursts into flame, illuminating the sky the way that fuel depot was supposed to. You drop your payload. You don't have any more payload to try another pass. It hits the ground and it explodes, missing your target entirely. It lands in a field, hitting into the mud, and just goes thug, doesn't even detonate. And then as you're going away and you're watching your fellow airwoman's plane burn in front of you, you're going to take a mark.
Okay.
And because not only that, because of the fail, Frankenstein, there's no way you're going to make it back. So as you two are retreating now with one missing ship, your engine cuts out and it
Okay.
goes silent, and it's not intentional this time.
Okay.
And there's no more fuel.
So now
And you're now going to roll wheels down, and that'll
So
be the last roll. Of
mine
this
here
episode.
says you can bring a plane wheels down well.
Mhm.
When you change duty stations, advance if you walked away
Yeah.
from the wrecked
Yeah,
aircraft.
no, you're right.
So how does that
So that means
impact
bringing
me?
it down means you're still going wheels down. It's
Yeah.
a matter of, are you going down as a fiery wreck, or are you going to land it?
Okay.
So,
right?
What it means for adventurers, if you roll a 7 to 9, normally you
Yeah.
pick 2, but you still only
Less
pick
than
one.
ideal
I only
includes
picked
putting it
one.
down anywhere but a prepared airfield. You're landing it in a farm somewhere.
Oh my god.
What was
8.
it? An 8? On an 8, you prang the plane and choose 2 consequences.
I choose 1.
He's an adventurer. He chooses one.
It's unflyable.
I mean, it already
Casualties
wasn't
on
flyable.
board. Split 3 harm between you and however you like. Your lack of skill, courage, or care with the people's machinery is noted. Your landing puts you in immediate danger.
If already damaged, it becomes a
Well, I mean, your landing will put you in enemy territory, so that is going to happen, but that is a condition I threw towards you already. So is the plane unflyable, or are there casualties on board, or will your lack of skill be noted?
I think I'll take the unflyable. The plane is damaged.
If it's already damaged, it's a
Sorry.
fiery wreck.
Yeah, it's a fiery
It was
wreck.
already damaged. If it's a
It is now a
fiery
fiery
wreck,
That means
it means it's a fiery wreck. People don't walk away from fiery wrecks.
Oh, okay. So that would mean I died. Okay.
Oh, wait. Whoa. Okay, so that means that.
So I wouldn't want that one then.
Yeah, you're already out there with this. This is a plane that
Fiery
can't
wreck means all
survive.
lives are lost. Is that what that means?
I think so. Especially in the context of this
Okay,
podcast.
out of all
it means you're gonna
four,
hit the ground and start rolling.
out of
into
all
a ball.
4 of these terrible outcomes, I think I'll choose the last one. Your landing puts you in immediate danger.
How much harm do you have? You only had the 1 harm. Split 3 harm between you and however you like. You do have another person on board the plane. You could be the sole survivor.
But she doesn't have a harm though, does she?
She is an NPC, so 1 harm will kill them. So you would take 2.
I would take 2.
And then they
Let's
would
go
die.
with that then. Yeah, let's do that. That's terrible.
In the crash. It's terrible. You're the
So
sole
sad.
survivor. You are 1 harm away. The 4 harm is death. You're at 3 harm in German territory.
Poor Diana.
So you safely put the
I
plane
hardly
down,
knew ye.
But the damage, the
Irina?
wreck, the fire, the bullets, Irina doesn't make it.
They come up.
Irina,
the bullets
Diana,
just
and
ripple the
Elena.
plane, and one goes up.
This was a
through her.
terrible outcome. A sole plane returns back to the airbase.
I feel incredibly responsible for this.
112 went down as well?
Yeah. 112 went down after the failed attack run. And 117 went down when their fuel ran out. Because they chose to stay behind instead of retreat.
Oh no!
134 returns. You don't have any bombs. You did drop your payload. But the reconnaissance planes from the all-male regiment
I completely
confirmed
missed
that
the
you
part
missed
where
your
112
target.
went down.
On the upside, I did walk away from a wreckage.
So you get something.
I get an advance.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't save anyone.
You will get an advance, so you can mark that advance between now and the next episode. Tomorrow, we're going to have to deal with how you get home.
Awesome.
And that is our 2nd episode in Night Witches. We will deal with the debrief of this catastrophic failure of a
What
mission.
did you get yourself into, Lyra?
And you wanted the promotion, and the responsibility is yours.
No. To be clear, Marina did not want the promotion. Marina did. I picked promotion for her, but she did not.
I do like where, like, if this was a TV show, how this is ending with this plane limping back in. Their sisters did not make it back. They don't know if you're alive because you went down.
But
And
Diana and Elena both did not
You-
survive.
the episode ends with you crawling out of that plane, covered in blood, burnt, broken, with a pistol.
I feel like I'm going to take like whatever the equivalent of dog tags were
Yeah.
from Diana
Yeah.
as well.
You have your
Irene.
Diana was in the other plane.
Oh, my mistake.
yeah no
Irina.
they had identification tags, and you have all you have is a pistol and milk candy and a torn up secondhand map and a compass and a general cardinal direction of where Russian territory is, and it's on the other side of that river. Come back next week.
Oh boy,
The odds are not in
Oh,
your
boy.
favor.
not in my favor, but it's going to be one hell of a story if it is. There's
One hell of a war story indeed. I can't wait to hear it.
going to be a
For
badass grandmother in a
Night
rocking
Witches,
chair with a pig leg.
I have been the GM, Justin Ecock, surrounded by my airwomen who are feeling a little less like morale has taken a dip here. But true love was,
Well, I mean, she doesn't feel the same way, but
it wasn't.
that's
yeah,
okay.
This
Friends
is,
zone.
this
well
is
received, just
this
not
is
what
well
we were hoping.
received, just not.
Well received. Yeah. Friend zone.
our pilot leading the
And the
attack
person, that I could have, the person that I could have, in theory, consolidated with
Yeah.
is now gone.
run. Around our table,
True.
our person leading the attack run.
Joe Drummond as Miriam Pomalova, fucking everything up.
Neil Tavares as Lyra Kazakova,
Who is fucked up.
who is fucked up.
And Lieutenant Marina Tsetkova,
Who is
aka
just-
Sparrow,
Who's just fucked.
who's taking credit for fucking everything up. Joshua Barbeau.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fuck ups.
Come back next week. We got 2 more episodes left in this. I hope you survive to the 4th episode, but regardless, we're gonna do 2 more hours.
Rad. I'm so down.
Until next time, bye.
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 The Terrible Warriors has new episodes out every Tuesday, and we'll be back next week with our third episode in our January campaign of The Night Witches. Of course, as mentioned at the start of this hour, every campaign we've been playing this year has been voted on by our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. If you'd like to become a supporter, you can head over right now, and a supporter of any amount can participate in those monthly polls. This month, you can choose to have us continue with the Night Witches, and we'll go all the way to Berlin if you want us to. Or perhaps you'd like to see us go back to where no one has gone before, in Star Trek Adventures. And if you think it's been too long since we've been melodramatic teenagers in high school, Monster Hearts 2 is another option. Or perhaps you'd like us to hone our senses and delve into the world of The Witcher. Those are your 4 options this month. Patreon.com/terriblewarriors. Follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. Come join us on our Discord channel. There's a link on our homepage at terriblewarriors.com. And, of course, Night Witches is published by Bully Pulpit Games and written by Jason Morningstar. Today's Terrible Warriors and your airwomen of the 588 were Joe Drummond, Neil Tavares, Joshua Barbeau, and GM Justin Ecock. We'll be back next week with the next chapter in The Night Witches, right here on The Terrible Warriors. How did that feel? How was that flowing? Was it a little too... I didn't want to get too many... I know we're reading out the rules.
It's good.
Flavor, but...
It's good. It's very, very neat. I need to use that.
The day and the night is such a different tone, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're on the mission.
Yeah, the daytime is like, oh, this is a little bit